I'm a mother of two beautiful children. Not long ago, I moved to a very small town in New South Wales, Australia, to give my children the cleanest living environment that I could. Only a few months after moving here, I started experiencing very strong pains in my upper body, around my heart, around my lungs. As someone who has had an extremely clean bill of health, I was alarmed by these growing pains that were getting worse and worse week after week, and that were acute in the evening. Not long after this was occurring, the Stop 5G campaign hit my consciousness, and I've become very active in the campaign to stop that. And in my explorations and in my studies, I started working with a geobiologist, and I became very aware of what those pains were about. And I want to share my story with you to inspire you guys to also clean up your home environment of EMFs. So here's the story. Hello everyone, this is Chrissie, Charley, Stop 5G activist on the mid-north coast of Australia, and today I'm talking to Allen Cheney, who is a new friend of mine and a local geobiologist and electromagnetic frequency consultant. And welcome, Allen.
Thank you, Chrissie.
It's lovely to talk to you.
Yes,
and yeah, I just wanted to bridge, your work and what that means for us, in the world at the moment, to the people who don't know a lot about this and want to, understand more about how we can protect ourselves and our family and our homes from electromagnetic frequencies. So initially, I'd maybe love it if you could just explain to us what geobiology is.
Well, a geobiologist assesses homes and workplaces for electromagnetic radiation and geopathic stress. So it's a mixture of the two. We find equally the burdens from geopathic stress also detrimental to our health as EMR, or electromagnetic radiation, or EMF, electromagnetic field radiation. Yeah.
So there's different types of electromagnetic frequencies, and before I met you and started studying this, I had absolutely no idea about this. I knew that definitely the effects of the devices that we're using aren't great for us, but when we learn a little bit more about the subject, I've learnt from you that we're being affected by electromagnetic frequencies and fields coming from the earth, simply from the wiring in our homes,
Yes.
Most certainly from the cell phone towers that are all around us at the moment. So yeah, tell us, what do you know about the effects of the electromagnetic smog that we're actually living in?
Well, we have experienced, since the introduction of wireless telecommunications, the depletion of people's health. Even from the introduction of electric field radiation, or the electricity in people's houses, which happened in the late 19th century, people started to become ill from just simply the live AC wiring in the walls. The rich could only afford it, so they actually called it the socialites disease. Now, then in the preceding 10-15 years, they put the AC voltage into the factories and put the poorer people in working in there, and then they started to get sick. And so they really weren't happy that the poorer people were getting their disease. They'd actually embraced it. And we see the same thing happening with mobile phones and wireless telecommunications. People sacrificing the effects because they enjoy the product or the toy type, the ability for them to communicate easily and quickly. And some of them are aware of the problems with it, though are not willing to make any changes because of such a device is so handy for their lifestyle. So yeah, it's similar to 250 years ago, where people were very addicted to the lighting and the things they had from AC voltage, and were prepared to ignore the health effects from it. But those health effects have continued on. We've still got AC wiring in our walls. We can mitigate the effects of that. We can eliminate either the electricity in the walls for sleep time, or we can use grounded paints to drain away electric fields. There's also magnetic fields. This is a biggie. This is one that causes cancer. And that's well known about and well documented. So Magnetic fields can come from overhead distribution or transmission lines, or they can also be from wiring faults in the house.
Right.
If they're wiring faults, it's something that we can easily mitigate by using an electrician. Firstly, we isolate where that wiring fault is and then have an electrician come along. It's usually a fairly straightforward fix, but if it's from overhead distribution or transmission lines, then we cannot change that. So there's been a few times, and only just last weekend, I had to recommend for a lady to not live where she's living because of high magnetic fields. Yeah, so there's those types, and then there's the RF radiation, the wireless. So now the frequencies are getting larger and larger, like up to 85 gigahertz in some places in Australia. 5G, the introduction of that, the millimetre waves, where there'll be potentially high frequency. You know, we're talking quintillions of hertz, times the amount of frequencies that we have in natural environment. So our bodies resonate very well with the Schumann resonance, 7.8 hertz. So when we talk about, say, even you know, the NBN in Australia, the rollout there, they've got quite common between 19.59 and 23.59 gigahertz from towers that are around. And so these type of frequencies are even more detrimental to our health the higher they get. The hardest frequencies to shield is around the 8 gigahertz. Initially, I think the rollout of 5G, they are talking about around between 3 and 9 gigahertz. So, but you know, there's also talk about them being able to increase that at will in any places. So, I mean, at this moment, it's still talk. And when these things come into use, then, you know, typical human ability to be flexible and adapt is to do something about them. So that's what we're doing as geobiologists. So, you know, we're protecting people's homes, creating healthy regenerative sleep areas, so that people can then stay on and try to fight this rollout of you know, very unhealthy frequencies that's happening. This is called a subboard. Yeah.
And this is right outside my bedroom wall.
Yeah, and usually subboards are wired a little more neatly so that your magnetic fields are less, though we should get, with the Gauss meter, have a look on the other side of the wall what's happening.
What?
And then it might be worth moving your bed to the other side of the wall.
But yeah, up to, or 200 to 30.
You're all right. Theon's room.
Yes. 25, 21,
Beautiful, that's really good.
That's nice and low.
19.
I suspect there would, because it's a steel roof, that protects very well.
Does it? Good.
And I suspect there's probably isolation or some sort of insulation in the walling as well.
90's the highest it got up
Good
to.
one. That's a really good reading. That's a really good reading. You must have good sleeps.
Do you sleep well in here, Innie? You got a clean room? Yeah, so I think this, you know, the rollout of 5G is actually, you know, awakening people really to this topic of electromagnetic frequencies. Like even with 3G and 4G and what we're being exposed to at present, you know, we're in a way waking up. You know, we're realizing that yes, this stuff has a detrimental effect, and you know, the wireless industry certainly isn't looking after our health, and neither are the regulatory bodies like the FCC in America, and our parents are here, and so we do have to take, you know, the power back into our own hands, do our own research, find out exactly what is going on with this stuff, and make those changes, don't we? What would you recommend, Al? Like, what would, you know, for people listening that want to make immediate, simple changes that, you know, don't require money right now? What could they do?
To start with, just the things that would not cost them money is to consider where their electricity is, where they're sleeping. The environment they're sleeping in. You know, without electricity in the room, the sleep's going to be a more healthy, regenerative sleep. The sleep time is when we, as I was saying, when we repair our body. So it's important to have that time to be have no stresses on your body. Now, if those stresses like radio frequency radiation, electric fields from when you're in your office, at your computer desk or whatever, are 24/7, then it's hard for the melatonin to be produced, hard for the body to repair itself. So that night time's very important.
0. 275, 283. to 180. 180. 150.
In his bedroom, number 3.
180.
Yep.
Now.
160.
Oh, wow.
0.
After Alan came and, we discovered that the subboard was on the other side of my wall where I was sleeping, I moved the bed to the other side of the room. I have shut down, all Wi-Fi in my home, and every night I shut all the electricity off except for the fridge and the hot water system at the mains. And within 3 days, the pains that had been increasing and increasing over many weeks and that were affecting me greatly at night time, because that's where my bed was, have gone. These pains have gone completely. And so this has brought to my attention exactly what electricity is doing to us.
Of course, now when you are asleep, of course you don't need a view. So our shielding fabrics on the windows, when the fabric's closed like a curtain, along with the grounded paint, shields RF radiation. Certainly when they are charging their phone, charge it on a different circuit to their bedroom circuit. Turn their Wi-Fi off if they have to use Wi-Fi. Alternatively, it's ideal to have everything hardwired. It's even possible to hardwire your iPads and iPhones through using a Ethernet lightning adapter. Also, if you have to use Wi-Fi, you don't use it when you're asleep, so turn it off. Turn it off at the modem. Electricity switch off.
Yes.
Also, your phone, turn your data off, turn your Bluetooth off, turn your Wi-Fi off, because even if your home Wi-Fi modem is off, your phone Wi-Fi is still on, it's still searching for a modem all the time, so it's putting out RF radiation during that time.
Yes.
So you can use your phone, if you have all those things off, for say an alarm clock. So many people do. Many people sleep with their phones under the pillow, which is not advisable. But if those things are turned off, you haven't got so many problems there. So, as far as charging in a different room, get a battery-powered alarm clock. That phone is the production of phones is the reason that we've got mobile phone towers to start with.
Okay, back to Paul Allen's phone, measuring the
Radio frequency radiation when in a call.
line to measure. There we go. Look at that. Up it goes. So that's the radiation. What's that measurement?
Microvolts. So snare reading if I was.
So that's the radiation slamming us every time a phone call comes in.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so that's one thing. If you have electricity off in your house when you're sleeping, or if certainly your bedroom area when you're sleeping, then that's also beneficial. We look at things like geopathic stress too. So inevitably, if you want to have a thorough investigation into your living area, to have an EMF consultant, a geobiologist come along and do an investigation, you'll find the cost is very relatively little compared to what we can tell you. And really it's not much different to, say, people having a building and pest inspector come along, because that's about their health as well.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, I have a body absorption RF meter. So it's reading the body, what I'm absorbing as far as RF microwave radiation. The radiation here is emitted from a cell phone tower, which is 1.21 kilometres from here, pretty much line of sight. So we haven't got a huge burden, but certainly it's good 3 to 9 times what we'd like to see it at 270 microvolts. So this is outside. We will go into an area now where we have shielded. This small cabin has been shielded with RF shielding paint, which has been grounded.
Yeah.
Here we can see the readings coming down to 19, 18, 15, 14, and this is without the shielded door closed.
Yes, this is with the door open, and that's the ideal for sleeping, isn't it?
We'd like to see below 30 microvolts, ideally, and
Yep.
above 100 we really need to mitigate somehow.
In the bedroom.
In the sleeping area.
Yeah, brilliant. Isn't that incredible? Just that shielding paint on the outside of this cabin, reducing the radiation greatly. What's the composition of this paint?
It's graphite and carbon black and trade secret, so it's made into polymers and that to make it into a paint. It's got a very low VOC, it's 0.2 VOC, so we like to boast that our products are not only healthy inclusion for your health as far as RF and electric fields, but they're also not a burden within themselves. Hi there, so this is grounding tape that runs right around the building. It is connected to a cable here which is to a earth stake. The grounding tape is positioned in between two coats of shielding paint. That's RF shielding paint. So the purpose of the grounding tape is to ground any electric fields away from the live wiring in the walls. It's also a safety feature too. So if we've got a contractor later come along with a faulty drill and he drills into the electrically conductive wall, somebody's on the other side of it, they're not going to get electrocuted because it's going to be grounded. So it's a safety issue as well as draining away electric fields. Very, very effective as well.
Great. Okay, so this device is measuring microvolts of RF microwave radiation. So, you know, when I test myself for, you know, what's coming at me from cell phone towers and what have you, you know, I get a reading of around 141 microvolts. And then when we put here we go, I'm going to get shielded in the fabric. What do we call this fabric?
Nova fabric.
Nova fabric, which basically is made out of silver.
Copper-plated silver embedded in cotton or polyester.
And the reading is going down to 30.
Yeah, and that's not even with the fabric right around you, so we're short of creating the Faraday cage.
And, you know, the assessment you did on my home was invaluable. The information and the knowledge I got from the empowerment I got from that was invaluable, not only bringing my attention to, you know, to things that were unhealthy and that I needed to work through, but it also put my mind at ease about other things that I was stressing over, like Kindles and, oh no, we can't use anything. And you were like, no, this is fine, that's fine if you do this. And, you know, that really put my mind at ease. So I would highly recommend, as Al suggested, if you can, to work with an electromagnetic frequency expert who can come to the home and do an assessment. But immediately, those very simple changes that we can all make, you know, switching the electricity off, the Wi-Fi off, grounding our devices with fibre optic cables, make all the difference.
It does. You know, you create a healthy regenerative sleep area, then you have a much better chance of facing the burdens of the day. If you have 24/7 stresses, then that's going to be a problem. But certainly, keep your sleeping area healthy, and you'll find that your daytime's much more productive, and your health will improve. Not guaranteed, nothing's a guarantee, though certainly we see with our patients in our work that we have certainly improvements in their health.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, really, how can you not have an improvement in your health when you get reduced? It's not natural. We're not supposed to be swimming in this much radiation. It's just, you know, it's a no-brainer, really. Anyway, look, thanks for talking to us. Thanks Al Cheney, and yeah, you know, lots of blessings to everyone listening, and we encourage you to go full steam ahead into this area of arming yourself with the knowledge that you need to protect your family the best that you can.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.